Hi, my name's Ariel Figueroa. My pronouns are he, his, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Inheritance Project. I was born and raised in New York City on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and I currently live in Harlem, in West Harlem, in a neighborhood called Sugar Hill. I was born to a Puerto Rican father and a Jewish mother, multi-faith, multi-ethnic family. This was a relatively unconventional mix in my neighborhood, um, although I did live in a very diverse neighborhood, mostly Black and Hispanic and Jewish. And so from a very young age, I was always having conversations about identity, both internally and also with other kids, with the other people that I grew up with. People would always be asking me, well, which are you? Are you more Jewish? Are you more Puerto Rican? I felt very accepted in both of these communities, and was fully integrated. I had the bar mitzvah. I had, could dance salsa. I could dance the hora. Was fully immersed in both those communities. But I always knew that I was with them, but not necessarily of them. That I was really my own brand. I was really my own entity. And so, eventually I said, I'm Jurican. I made up my own identity category. I think as somebody who's always been navigating two cultures, really contributed to my understanding that nobody actually fits in boxes. Nobody actually adheres to the labels that we give them. The labels that we give people are kind of a shortcut so that we can easily understand them and know how to treat them. People would ask me, are you more Jewish? Are you more Puerto Rican? So that they can know how to interact with me. That was their way of trying to be able to relate to me in the right way. And I think my experience as somebody who's part of a multicultural, multi-faith family is that I see the same thing with everybody. Because everybody has two parents. And everybody comes from two different worlds, in a sense. And more than that, if we really, go a little deeper into it. And so I think that being from a multicultural family really allowed me to look at everybody else on a deeper level. How did you come to think the way that you do? How do you see yourself? How do you see me? And always be interested in kind of peeling back the layers. And I think that is something that I felt drawn to bring into education, to help students and help adults as well now peel back their layers and be in this process of understanding, how do I think? How do other people think? How can I best communicate who I am and what I want to say? I think I was drawn to sociology as kind of a natural extension of this conversation of investigating identity and ethnicity. There's so much that shapes how we think, how we speak, how we act, beyond what we experience on a day-to-day level. That something like the concept of inheritance, for example, is in essence the stuff of sociology. It's understanding all the forces that shape our behavior, that shape our thinking, that shape the way that we see ourselves and see other people. And I think that I was drawn to education in part from a desire to really create spaces that empower. And I saw working with young people as one of the most potent ways to do that. Working as an educator was really my first experience with facilitation. And if you've ever been with young people, and I taught students as young as preschool for quite some time. And this was the biggest education in facilitation, because this is a group that is fully in their honesty all the time and will just be like, Ariel, this is boring. We're bored. It's a group of people that you get immediate feedback. So this really was my facilitation training, to keep the energy of a group of preschoolers together and actually have them develop their minds. Teaching was a really difficult job. It's taxing on the body. It's taxing on your energy. There's a lot of burnout that I experienced and I saw along with my colleagues. Parallel with this journey as a teacher, I was also always doing yoga to restore my energy. I was always pursuing healing arts as a way to be ready to be in the classroom. And eventually I realized that I loved working with children, but I also wanted to work with adults. And I wanted to start bringing some more formal training in yoga into my practice as a facilitator, as an educator. So I became a yoga teacher, and that started pulling this thread that led to doing various healing arts. And I eventually became a massage therapist. I became a yoga teacher, a meditation teacher. I found that this was something that was really important to me, and it was about creating spaces that could help people heal and transform. And eventually, education and healing kind of came together, and it in my career path. And it definitely makes sense in the sense that, you can't have learning without engaging your body. And you can't heal and transform without engaging your mind. I think for a lot of people, this was a way to counteract the burnout from their daily lives. It was a way to kind of punctuate their lives and kind of move into a new chapter. And this is in direct relationship with the work that I do now. A facilitation, a workshop is like a mini retreat. Ideally you come into it and you leave differently than you entered. And for a lot of people, they have, in our workshops, they have realizations or shifts that change the course of their lives in ways that are big and small. When I started to talk to Katya and learn about this project, I realized that this was bringing together all of these threads that I've been developing in my life. It was bringing together these learnings from sociology about the larger forces that shape how and who we are, with the body and the somatic practices that can help us activate and integrate that, along with this journey of self-inquiry and understanding that when we deeply investigate who we are, that we can then understand other people and make space and connect with them in a deeper way. And this is what the world needs right now. We need a new way of being in relationship with ourselves and a new way of being in relationship with others. Showing people that creating a bridge, that being a bridge for yourself to someone else, for other people to each other, is really the way that we're going to shift into a new way of being. My personal mission is to create spaces where people can feel safe, where people can show up honestly, where people can say, I'm not sure, where people can say, I think this might be who I am. That is really a sacred thing, and I think that's the work that we're doing. We're allowing people to show up in a way that is different, that can really help them connect with themselves in a very deep way. And that's something that our world needs really badly right now.